Hi and good evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I am Amibuddham. Now the latest headlines from world channels and news agencies.
And ABC iView.
Today, the manhunt continues for the suspects wanted over the arson attack on a Melbourne synagogue, as the opposition accuses the Prime Minister of failing to tackle extremism.
Certainly the Australian Jewish community feels like this was an act of terrorism. They feel terrorised.
South Korea's president apologises for his decision to plunge the country into martial law. A win for Woolworths in its battle against the union brings hopes supermarket shelves will be restocked for Christmas. And social media platform TikTok has dealt a major blow in its fight against a potential ban in the United States. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Ruby Cornish. Police are still searching.
Tonight, it's now a multi-state manhunt for the man who shot and killed a healthcare CEO right here in New York City.
Everybody thinks by this point he's fled the city. There's a lot of ways he could have got out.
The search growing. Investigators using surveillance to retrace the suspect's every step. All of this as new details emerge from how he got to New York City to where he stayed. What we're now learning about possible DNA evidence and a smudged fingerprint found at the crime scene. Plus, a major decision from the judge in the subway chokehold trial of Marine veteran Daniel Penny after the jury said it was deadlocked after more than 3 days of deliberations. And 5 years after that devastating fire, Paris's famed Notre Dame is back. An inside look at the years-long renovation. Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephanie Ramos in for Lindsay Davis. Thank you for streaming with us. We begin with the search for a killer that has turned into a multi-state manhunt now involving the FBI.
Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air, the major turn in the manhunt for the killer of that CEO in New York City. The breaking headline at this hour, what we've just learned, what's just been found in Central Park. Also tonight, the new milk fears. Federal authorities now testing some of the milk supply in the U.S. for bird flu. What you need to know. And multiple accidents tonight. Bitter cold and snow once again moving into the Northeast. First tonight, the all-out search for the suspect wanted for the killing of an insurance CEO in New York. Last seen riding a bike out of Central Park. The breaking headline, what's now been discovered in the park and where they believe the suspect escaped New York. Where they're now looking, Eric Gutersky and what he's just learned. Also breaking, the subway chokehold case. The jury says it's deadlocked. The unexpected turn in court, what the judge has just done. The concern over milk growing tonight. Federal authorities say they will now test raw milk for bird flu. What you should know about this and why they're taking this major step. Tonight, the brutal cold from Texas all the way up to the Northeast. And the new Clipper system bringing more snow now. Behind it, another big change. Lee Goldberg standing by with the weekend forecast. Tonight, there is breaking news involving President-elect Donald Trump's pick to run the Pentagon, who just revealed they're willing to meet with Pete Hegseth again. The major news on TikTok tonight, a federal appeals court now clearing the way for a new law that would ban TikTok in the U.S. unless it's sold to an American company. Does this now go to the Supreme Court? Will TikTok go away in the U.S.? The discovery tonight in the search for that missing grandmother in a 30-foot sinkhole outside Pittsburgh. The 5-year-old granddaughter found in her car and what authorities have now revealed about the grandmother tonight. The new warning from the FBI this evening for iPhone and Android users about your text messages, how to keep them from being read by the Chinese. Look at this, Dick Van Dyke just 1 week before his 99th birthday. We've got all my love. The new music video showing he hasn't lost a step. And 5 years later, the reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral tonight. James Longman standing by live from Paris and the Americans who helped make this happen.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News.
Tonight, the major new turn in the manhunt for the killer of United Healthcare CEO. The NYPD now saying the person of interest likely fled the city. And just in, the gray bag discovered in Central Park. Is it the same one the suspect was carrying? It comes as police reveal the person of interest may have escaped New York. The path they say he took from the crime scene to Central Park and then into a taxi and possibly onto a bus. Destination unknown. And that photo, the flirty exchange that may have led him to pull down his mask. Also tonight, the dramatic move in the subway chokehold trial, the jury deadlocked, the judge dismissing the top charge. So what happens now? The bitter winter blast sweeping across the eastern U.S. and the new lake effect snow threat. Our NBC News exclusive, President-elect Donald Trump, his first network interview since winning the election, speaking out about his embattled Pentagon pick, why he's standing by Pete Hegseth despite mounting allegations. Our broadcast exclusive with the head of the FAA, we ask him about Boeing and its safety scares. Is Boeing too big to fail?
I would say that they failed.
And his biggest concerns this holiday travel season.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening and welcome. The manhunt that has riveted the nation has now become a nationwide search as New York City police now say they believe their person of interest in the ambush killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson has fled town more than 48 hours after the shocking early morning.
Tonight, the breaking news, the manhunt widens as police believe the shooter who killed an insurance CEO is no longer in New York City, the major American city now on alert. The judge in the subway chokehold trial dismisses the manslaughter charge, what it means for the case with the jury deadlocked.
He's taking this very seriously.
Preemptive pardons for critics of Donald Trump, from Dr. Fauci to Liz Cheney, who might be on President Biden's list.
I don't think the idea of a blanket pardon is a good idea.
Were you actually homeless?
At times, yeah.
And it's Friday, so we go on the road with a football player who learned the power of chosen family.
That will forever be my big brother.
The CBS Evening News starts now.
I love you, baby. Go get it.
Good evening, I'm Nora O'Donnell, and thank you for joining us on this.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Bennett. Amna Navaz is away. On the NewsHour tonight, in an unprecedented move, Romania's election results are thrown out because of Russian interference, putting the NATO member country and its Western allies at a crossroads. We examine the major changes Robert F. Kennedy Jr. could make to federal food regulations if he's confirmed to lead the nation's health department. And Minnesota's first transgender legislator discusses the political backlash against trans rights and whether Democrats are pulling support in the wake of election losses.
This cascade has been coming. I think with the recent election and now what we're seeing at the court, it is going to really crash down.
It's coming your way. Hey, hey, it's video of the day.
He looks like a snake, but he's got some good takes. Our video of the day comes from the Louisiana lizard man, James Carville. Just looking at him makes me want to reach for some moisturizer. Oh, we're gonna give him some more. Fired up after warming his belly on a hot rock, the Cajun chameleon went after Joe Biden for totally blowing the election. Check.
If he would have, in September of 2023, or August, said that he wasn't going to run, damn, we would have won this election. And it wouldn't have been that close because we'd have had so many freaking talented people that were running. All of this is self-inflicted. It's tragic. It's sad. What's so sad, it didn't have to be this way. He brought it all on himself. At the bottom of this, Joe Biden is and will continue to be the most tragic figure in modern American politics. I actually feel for Biden, and he knows that he it's a shame.
Are we sure he knows he up? I think that's it. And speaking of presidential call-outs, Trump recently gave one to yours truly. Check it out.
I have so many friends sitting right here. Oh, there's one that he was calling me early on. He was saying, why are you going through this process? You know he's going to win. He's big, he's strong. I will never fight you. I'm going to tell you that.
11 years after getting sober, Mike Manhas says he's disappointed that when it comes to getting help, not much has changed.
For me, I had to go through 12-step programs were the only resources available. There weren't any other resources when I got into recovery.
But he did recover.
I couldn't imagine life being like this.
He wants the same for others in the face of a bleak reality.
We lose more years of life to unregulated substances in Island Health and in British Columbia than to anything other than cancer.
In a new report, Island Health's chief medical officer turns the focus to alcohol.
Unregulated substances, specifically opioids and alcohol, have such a fundamentally different regulatory framework and public image.
Dr. Reka Gustafson's report finds alcohol-related hospitalizations are higher than admissions for opioids, cannabis, and stimulants. She says the rate of hospitalizations for alcohol are higher for Island Health than the rest of BC.
In my years of doing outreach and supporting individuals, I lost more clients to alcohol use disorder than I did to overdose.
Blake Anderson with the Umbrella Society says many die while waiting for help.
On the Lower Island, we have 20 detox beds available for this population. So that is, for me, criminal.
On top of that,
it's a shame that Victoria doesn't have a recovery club. We have about 8 or 10 different housing sites for people in harm reduction, but we have 0 sites for people in recovery.
He and Anderson don't want people to have to leave the island to get treatment.
In order to improve health, we actually have to reduce consumption.
She says decades of regulation reduced tobacco consumption, so it's time to do the same for alcohol.
Such as taxation and pricing and availability.
While it's clear there's much work to be done, healing is still happening.
We have the privilege of being able to see people achieve sobriety and achieve success in their recovery. And yeah, that gives me tons of hope.
Anna McMillan, CTV News, Victoria.
Ian, it has been such a giddy, exciting day. I've had friendship bracelets from people from different parts of the United States who've been here, people from right here in British Columbia. A lot of them young girls, very excited for this event, something they've been waiting for a long time. You know, there were people waiting to get into BC Place hours and hours before the concert. They were looking for that exclusive concert-only merch. I spent much of the day just walking around, soaking it all in, and asking people, why is this tour so special?
You made a really deep cut, and baby, now we got bad blood. Hey! Amazing start, everybody!
Taylor has taken over Vancouver. Swifties are belting on buses.
I'm really excited. I've just listened to her like my whole childhood.
Fans sparkle on the seawall.
It's like there's so much Taylor Swift stuff everywhere. I love how we have all these banners put out all throughout the city, so just trying to make the most of this experience.
I want to see her for real life, not just on the TV.
This is the final stop on the Eras Tour, the last of 52 cities, more than 150 shows in total. It's expected to bring $157 million to Vancouver.
We're working on an eagle feather right now.
That cash flowing even to this street carver. Richard Mountain says business is up 80%.
Exciting. Right, a lot of fans now.
We love Taylor Swift and we drive anywhere around the country for her.
Anywhere around the world that we could get to.
There's something about the energy that's more than music, more than celebrity.
There's a kindness that comes with her, and I think we all crave that a little bit.
Arthur Hare's outfit was inspired by Taylor's Time cover.
Especially being from the States, a lot of us have kind of tuned out and just put all of our sorrows and woes into listening to Taylor Swift.
Still, visitors notice the desperation here.
Like tons and tons of homeless people.
The Tribula family from Chicago says the decision to shell out so much cash to be part of all of this wasn't easy.
It was a very tough conversation about whether or not we wanted to come or not due to just the overall cost of Vancouver.
Getting to go takes some combination of affluence and luck. Ken sleeps outside, often near the stadium. He won't be going. He's a fan, though.
When my legs got broken, my #1 YouTube song ended up being Willow. It was weird.
So, Ian, it's not just the people who were able to shell out hundreds or thousands of dollars to see Taylor Swift in person. So many people have got into the energy of...
On this Friday night, the backlog before Christmas. How some couriers can't handle the boom in business caused by the Canada Post strike.
Their capacity is not unlimited.
The consequences for merchants and consumers. Canada's rising unemployment. What it might mean for interest rates. Justice for women who were murdered because they're women. The growing calls to add femicide to Canada's criminal code. New evidence. What New York police have learned as they try to catch a killer on the run. Plus, Vancouver's era.
We're all very, very lucky to watch her tonight.
The Taylor Swiftonomics, adoring fans, and police preparations.
Global National, reporting tonight.
Headline news this hour. Second President's policy. Longer able to fulfill his duties effectively. A looming impeachment vote will decide the president's fate later today. South Korea's opposition.
Deny.
So why so much vitriol about the brutal slaying of United Healthcare?
Of course, the United Healthcare CEO was killed this afternoon. However, unfortunately, sympathy requires a prior authorization, and I have to deny that request.
The massive manhunt for the suspect connected.
The truth is, as much as the Manhattan murder has shocked America, it's also shone a harsh spotlight on the much reviled health insurance industry, especially since police discovered the words deny, depose, defend on the bullet shell casings found at the scene that echo the title of a book criticizing similar words used by insurance firms when they deny medical claims.
Every single year, insurance companies kill thousands of people because they denied them the coverage that they have been paying for.
United Healthcare is America's biggest health insurance company, but also ranks as one of its worst when it comes to reimbursing people for their health care and even denying them the ability to have procedures in the first place.
I'm actually a little bit surprised this hasn't happened more often to CEOs of healthcare companies in the US.
The online vitriol has reportedly led to other insurers stepping up security for top bosses, and one firm, Blue Cross, even reversed a policy that would have limited reimbursements for anesthesia during surgery.
I'd say out of nowhere at all, we've decided to roll back our new policy on anesthesia.
One healthcare entrepreneur said he was stunned by the online backlash.
It's really shocking to see this vitriol and hate. The lack of empathy shocks me. But I understand the frustration towards the industry. But to take Brian Thompson and make him the scapegoat for everything that you dislike about the industry or dislike about healthcare in the United States is sickening to me.
So was the alleged gunman a hired hitman, or did he have an axe to grind with United Healthcare? Was he, or perhaps a family member, denied critical treatment? So far, we just don't know. What we do know is the victim's wife said he had received threats before. Mr. Thompson was also reportedly being investigated for insider trading, but police have so far said nothing of the motive. They do know the suspect arrived in New York City 10 days before the shooting, having travelled there on a Greyhound bus that left from Atlanta. And this vital clue, the moment the alleged gunman let down his guard and his mask while flirting with the receptionist, she said, at the Manhattan hostel where he was staying. A warm smile before a cold-blooded murder.
Good morning, welcome to Daybreak here on France 24. My name's Peter O'Brien. Let's take a look at your top stories. Of course, Paris gets its great cathedral back this Saturday. The lavish reopening of Notre Dame, resurrected from the ashes, will be attended by leaders from around the world. Cities around Syria fall like dominoes to various rebel groups. Daraa in the south is the latest. And the South Korean president is hours from an impeachment vote. He's apologised for Tuesday's declaration of martial law, which lasted just a few hours. In a year of big days for Paris, it's another huge one. Today, the iconic Notre Dame Cathedral has been completed.
The economy is the crucial concern for voters in Ghana's upcoming election. The cedi, the country's currency, is in decline, rendering it one of the poorest performing currencies in the region, a growing worry for young Ghanaians.
We actually need people or somebody who can tackle the very fundamentals of our economy, the unemployment, the inflation, the devaluation of our cedi. So this is the kind of person we need as a leader, and that is what has informed my decision to actually cast my vote coming Saturday.
Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia of the Patriotic People's Party is running against former President John Mahama from the New Democratic Congress and shaping voter decisions.
Kenyan police exchanged fire with gangs in Port-au-Prince on Thursday while establishing control of the building in an area of the capital controlled by the Viva and Sam gang, led by Jimmy Cherizier, also known as Barbecue. The building, which used to house offices of the Haitian National Police, was evacuated soon after Barbecue's gang took control of the entire neighborhood of Delmas 2 3 years ago. Late November, Kenyan officers regained control of the building but remain under constant fire from Viva Sam gang members who were encroached in Delmas 2, 5% of the capital.
Lionel Messi was named the Major League Soccer's most valuable player Friday, even after a season where he missed 15 of Inter Miami's 34 regular season matches with injuries or commitments to Argentina's national team. Messi edged out Colombian forward Cucho Hernandez of Columbus Crew and Brazilian playmaker Evander of Portland Timbers for the award, which is determined by a poll of players, club technical staff and select media members. At 37 years old, Messi led Inter Miami to a record 74 points in the regular season. More than 250 Inter Miami Academy players stood together on the Chase Stadium turf in Lauderdale, Florida to form the MVP letters. The former Barcelona player averaged 2.18 goal contributions per night, a new league record.
Our entire league.
Photographs and jerseys are among the features of the new Diego Maradona exhibition in Buenos Aires. Dubbed Diego Eterno, it encompasses the football legend's tough childhood, reviews of all the clubs he played for, and his connections in the world of show business.
Hello everyone, good morning. It's 6 o'clock on today's show. A danger to life storm brings red weather warnings to parts of the UK, with an emergency alert sent to millions at risk, telling them to stay indoors. Yes, Sarah has...
will have the in their lead for the Premier League when they take on Everton. Today we're going to both manage.
Brilliant. 7th of November. 90-mile-per-hour winds and waves of up to 7 metres. Elsewhere, South Korea's president apologises for plunging the country into political turmoil hours before on whether to impeach him. The FBI offers a $50,000 reward to help find a gunman who killed a health insurance boss in New York. And rising from the ashes, Storm Cathedral opens after being destroyed by fire. And together at Christmas, the Princess of Wales steps out for her annual carol concert and reflects on a tough year.
Also ahead, we'll hear from Christian Horner as he backed Verstappen's deal of George Russell's driver at last week's Qatar Grand Prix.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the show.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. In Syria, the leader of the powerful armed opposition group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a former al-Qaeda affiliate, has declared opposition forces have taken complete control of the central city of Hama. In an interview with CNN published today, Abu Muhammad al-Jalani said his group's ultimate goal is to overthrow Syria's authoritarian president Bashar al-Assad. Armed groups now control Hama's military airport, and we're seen freeing prisoners from the city's jails. They've since pushed further south, claiming complete and rapid control of the northern suburbs of Homs, Syria's third largest city. Overnight, thousands of Homs residents fled toward Syria's western coast. On Thursday, Lebanon's Hezbollah movement pledged its support to the embattled Syrian government, which faces one of the largest challenges to Bashar al-Assad's authority in 13 years of bloody civil war. Meanwhile,
This is DW News, live from Berlin. South Korea's president apologizes. Yoon Suk-yeol apologizes to the public for anxiety caused by his attempt to impose martial law. It comes just hours before an impeachment vote, with Yoon's own party saying it's time to go. Also coming up, Syrian rebels push south toward the key city of Homs, with government forces appearing powerless to halt their advance. And greetings to you, our viewers around the world. I'm Michael Oku.
Thank you for sparing your precious time. This is Amir Shakil. Have a good life. Bye-bye.